The first time I heard him sing, I thought I was hallucinating. Who the hell expects the school's basketball star, the 6'3" golden boy with a perfect jump shot, belt out Broadway show tunes at midnight like he was auditioning for Phantom of the Opera? And not just sing God, he was good. Too good. I froze in my bunk bed, holding my breath, afraid that if I moved, the moment would shatter. His voice carried through the dim dorm room, filling the air with something raw, something that had nothing to do with sweaty locker rooms or packed gymnasiums. That night, I realized he wasn't just the star everyone saw on the court. He was something else, something fragile, hidden, and I was the only one who knew. His name was Ryan Carter. And me? I was Noah. Just Noah. Not the captain of anything, not the face plastered on posters, not the reason the bleachers were packed every Friday night. I was the roommate who slipped through hallways unnoticed, the kid who loved theater but never had the guts to audition. We weren't supposed to collide. But secrets have a way of binding people tighter than fate. Ryan wasn't the kind of guy you looked at and thought vulnerable. On the court, he was all speed and strength, the kind of athlete that made people roar in stadiums. He was the guy girls clung to, the guy coaches worshipped, the guy fathers wished their sons could be. But in the shadows of our dorm room, long after the cheers had died down, he transformed. His voice wasn't just beautiful, it was heartbreaking. He sang like he was begging someone, anyone, to hear the parts of him he could never show in the daylight. I tried not to let it matter. Tried to stay the roommate who pretended to sleep while the star sang his soul out. But it's hard to pretend when every note slices you open. It's harder when you realize you've memorized the way he breathes between verses, the way his jaw tenses before he hits a high note. And one night, I whispered the words that changed everything. "You're incredible, Ryan." Silence. I thought he'd throw something at me. Thought he'd curse, laugh, deny. But instead he stared wide-eyed, caught like an animal in a trap. "You heard me." His voice cracked, suddenly small. I nodded. Every night. His breath shuddered. He didn't look like the star athlete then. He looked terrified. The next few weeks were chaos. Not outwardly, the world still saw Ryan dunking, laughing, owning every hallway he walked down. But behind closed doors, our dorm became something different. He stopped pretending with me. At first, it was awkward, sitting cross-legged on my bed while he sat on his, strumming borrowed sheet music on his phone. Then it became addictive. His midnight performances turned into duets, half-whispered laughter in the dark, my voice shaking as I tried to follow his. That's when the danger came in. Because the closer we got, the harder it was to pretend this was just about music. His hand would brush mine, and the air would thicken. He'd hold my gaze too long, and the silence between us would hum louder than his songs. But Ryan Carter couldn't afford to be anything but the school's untouchable star. And me? I was the wrong guy to fall for. The first kiss wasn't supposed to happen. It was after a game. He came back sweaty, exhausted, riding the high of victory. I congratulated him, half teasing about his fan club outside the gym. He laughed, but his eyes lingered too long on mine. And then, like gravity had decided for us, kissed me. It wasn't sweet. It was desperate, clumsy, filled with years of repression crashing out all at once. His hands grabbed my hoodie like he was afraid I'd vanish. My heart felt like it would tear my chest apart. When he pulled back, we were both shaking. "We can't," he whispered, but his forehead was pressed against mine. His breath was still mingling with mine. "No one can know." I nodded, though everything inside me screamed otherwise. Secrets don't stay hidden forever. Not when the world loves to break beautiful things. It started with whispers. Someone saw us too close in the library. Someone caught me sneaking back into the dorm late. Then came the locker room rumors, the stares, the way his teammates nudged each other when I walked by. Ryan began to pull away, not from me, but from himself. He grew sharper, angrier. He stopped singing. The silence at night was worse than anything. One evening, I found him sitting on the floor, his head in his hands. He looked like a giant broken into pieces. "They'll ruin me if they find out," he muttered. "The scouts, the scholarships, everything. I can't, Noah. I can't lose this." "And what about me?" The words slipped out before I could stop them. "Do I mean nothing to you?" His silence cut deeper than a blade. That night, I almost walked away. Almost convinced myself that loving him was the kind of risk I couldn't afford. But love is stubborn. and so was I. It happened at the winter showcase. Our school was putting on Les Miserables. I hadn't auditioned, but Ryan, God help him, slipped into the back of the auditorium when the theater kids were rehearsing. His eyes shone like a starving man watching a feast. Afterward, I cornered him. "You should be up there." He laughed bitterly. "Yeah, right. Basketball star sings show tunes. That won't ruin my reputation at all." "Maybe your reputation isn't the only thing worth saving." He stared at me like I'd slapped him. And then, like he couldn't help himself, he sang. Right there, in the empty theater, under the echo of 1,000 ghost performances. His voice filled the room like it had filled our dorm so many nights. I clapped until my hands hurt. And when he bowed, his eyes locked on mine, tears glistening. That was the moment he realized he couldn't keep living a double life. The fallout came fast. Word got out, maybe someone recorded, maybe someone talked. By Monday, whispers had become fire. Basketball star. Gay. Musical theater. Noah. I thought he'd hate me. Thought he'd blame me. Instead, Ryan did the bravest thing I'd ever seen. At the next game, the gym packed with screaming fans, he grabbed the microphone during halftime. His voice shook, but he held his chin high. "I'm not just your basketball captain," he said. "I'm a singer. I'm gay. And I'm done hiding." The silence was deafening. Then came the claps. Then the cheers. Not everyone, of course, but enough. Enough to drown out the hate. He found me in the stands, eyes blazing with something fierce, something free. He pulled me down onto the court in front of everyone and kissed me like it was the only truth that mattered. The world spun. But in that moment I didn't care. Because he had chosen me. Chosen us. Years later, I still remember the first night I heard him sing. I still remember the boy who was too afraid to show the world who he was. And I remember the man who decided love was worth the risk. Ryan Carter became more than the school's basketball star. He became the guy who could fill arenas with both his jump shot and his voice. He became the man who stood beside me without apology. And me? I was never just Noah again. I was his. Forever the boy who knew his secret first. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.